Hello Resi Drivers, welcome back to the channel. So I've just come off my very first live stream here on YouTube. If you haven't watched it, I would advise you to check it out. Rather interesting. So anyway, in this video, I want to talk about something that I have noticed among us, and by us, I mean African immigrants living in the UK, myself included. And I'm pretty sure this also happens in other countries, whether you're living in the United States, Australia, Canada, and so on. The reason I'm saying I'm sure it happens there as well is because if a lot of us feel this way and knowing our common challenges, then it is safe to assume that it is happening over there as well. So what I want to talk about in this video is this culture of low expectations among African immigrants. I am specifying because I can't speak for other groups of people, because then I'll be generalizing, but I want to talk about something that I've observed and something that I've also experienced myself as an African. So let me begin by asking these questions. As African immigrants living in the UK or abroad, are we unconsciously setting limitations or limits on our potential, on what we're capable of doing or achieving? Are we settling for less than we deserve? That is the question that I want us to explore in this video. I mean, the short answer to that question, according to my opinion, is yes. We are settling for less than we deserve. Now, there are reasons for this, and some of these reasons are not of our doing. Now, there's a story that I've shared before. Some of you might remember this. It's a story about me and my friend, the conversation we once had when our kids were going to university. I shared with my friend that my daughter wanted to go to university to study law. Now, when I mentioned this, my friend was kind of taken aback. She was like, "Are you sure about that? Did you encourage her, or was it her own decision?" I said, "Well, it was her own decision. That's what she wants to do." And then when I saw the expression on her face, I said, What's wrong? Is there anything wrong with that?" She said, "Well, yeah, because we are immigrants. Do you think it's a good idea for her to do law? I mean, shouldn't you have encouraged her to do something else, like nurse or something like that, something realistic?" And I said, "Well, what am I supposed to say? That's what she wants. She's very, capable. She's intelligent. She's been doing well in her studies, and that is the subject that she's passionate about." I mean, deep down, I knew why she was saying that. I mean, if I'm to be honest, I knew, but I asked the question anyway. So in the end, I said, "I understand what you're saying, but I'm not going to advise my daughter not to pursue her degree. I'm not going to tell her, you know what, don't do that. Go and do nursing like me, because then you are guaranteed of a job at the end of your studies." I'm not going to do that, because as a mom, if I say that to my daughter, that is sending out a message, a clear message to her that, first of all, I don't believe in her. I don't believe in her capabilities. I don't have confidence in her, even though we have challenges as African immigrants. But as a mom, what am I saying to my daughter? I am already putting obstacles in a way by putting ideas into her head, by telling her that what she wants to do is not achievable. She can't possibly achieve this because she's an immigrant. She's this and that. This is what we call the Pagan Effect. It's a bit like a teacher in the classroom. If a teacher doesn't expect much from a certain pupil and makes it known to that child that, you know what, I don't expect you to get an A. The best you can do is a D. And then they tell another child that this one is brilliant. I expect you to get all A's. I know you can do it. Now, the difference between these two children is that the one who is told that I don't expect much from you is not going to bother trying that hard, because they know that the teacher has already concluded. So their psyche, or how they will process it, is that, what's the point? My teacher doesn't even expect much from me, so I might as well just, do what I can and not bother to put that much of an effort. I mean, it could be a parent who's saying that to them. They'll still feel the same, because children, mostly, they want to please their parents, their teachers, those people, key people in their lives. They want to please them. But if they know already that the people they want to please don't expect much from them, don't expect excellence from them, they're not going to bother trying, because they're already defeated before they even try. And this is dangerous, because that's how we develop this culture of low expectation because of our experiences. I mean, there are reasons for that. And as I said in the beginning, some of these reasons are not our fault. Some of the reasons are systematic. The challenges that have been put not by us, but by the system. And by the way, just to put a definition to what we mean when we talk about a culture of low expectations, this is a culture when a group of people or someone believes that their efforts will amount to nothing, or whatever they do is not good enough because excellence is not expected in them. They're not expected to achieve much. That is the culture of low expectations. So how does this culture of low expectations manifest in us as African immigrants? How does it come about, or how do we develop this culture of low expectations? I've already given you an example. Now, the first way this culture of low expectations manifests or develops in people or in someone is because of cultural influences. Now, in Zimbabwe, I'll give you an example. In Zimbabwe, I grew up hearing statements such as, uda kuzvita murungu here, uri kudaiso kana kuti uda kutraya kuita zvakati, uda kuzvita murungu here. I'll try to translate that. It means that there are certain things that when somebody tried to do, when I was growing up in Zimbabwe, when people saw you try to do that thing, maybe get out of your comfort zone, maybe start a business, or maybe move a certain way, people would say something like, oh, you think you're a white person now, you are behaving as if you are up there, because our mentality back then was that there are certain things that only a white person could do. I mean, I'm just calling a thing a thing. It is unfortunate, but that was our mentality. I'm using was because I would like to believe that we know better now. We don't do that anymore. It is because of our historical past. I mean, I know where this is coming from. This is why I'm always encouraging us to unlearn some of these things that have been ingrained in us or were taught to us, because some of these things were taught to us, were imposed on us. And I even mentioned in my other videos that some of the things we were taught in school were not even true. Sometimes it upsets me, but anyway, it is what it is. So cultural influences also play a part when people say things like, I would say cultural and societal influences, when people say things like, oh, stay in your lane, just stay in your lane, or, oh, this is better than nothing. Statements like that, yes, they might seem as if they are well-meaning, let me say. They have a place, but sometimes as well, they influence how someone moves in life, how someone behaves or sees themselves, or how far they are willing to go. Because if someone is constantly saying to you, oh, stay in your lane, you need to stay in your lane, or, you've got a job, it's better than nothing, when in actual fact, somebody wants to push themselves, they want to get out of their comfort zone, they want to try something new. But people are telling them, you know what, stay in your lane, this is better than nothing. So when someone is constantly hearing such statements, it actually influences them, the decision that they make in their lives as well. So that is one way that this culture of low expectations manifests. And then there are other barriers, systematic barriers that are put in place by other people, not us, nothing to do with our psychology, but they end up affecting our psychology. Barriers such as systematic bias, lack of representation, financial challenges, and so on. I mean, there are many. I have spoken about these barriers many times on this channel. So when an immigrant is trying really hard to achieve something or to become something, but they are facing these barriers at every turn, they go there, they try to do this, they're told, oh, you don't have enough money, or you don't qualify for this loan because of your visa status, you need to have permanent residence, you need to have this, you need to have this paper. That gets in the way. And an example of lack of representation. Suppose you live in an environment where you never see anyone of your kind, someone who looks like you, who is a doctor, who is an engineer. All you see are carers, nurses, that's all you see. And you never see anyone who looks like you on TV doing anything. Maybe they are an actor, but they only act in roles that are, those roles like housemates and things like that. So this then affects how you move through life, the way you see yourself, your psyche, what you believe about yourself, because you are never seeing those role models in positions that are seen as, to be higher, let me say, for lack of better term. In those higher positions, you're never seeing someone who looks like you. So that influences how you see yourself, because you also start to believe that, okay, this is how people see me as well. They don't see me as someone worthy of acting in this role. I'll give an example of Black women. I've said in the past as well, it is only recently that I started seeing more and more Black women play a love interest in a movie. They are never cast as someone to be admired by a man. You always see Black women play these submissive roles. They are nannies. They are supporting, those main characters. So this affects your mental health as well. You develop these feelings of inadequacy, hopelessness, because you're saying to yourself, what's the point? If the world sees me like this, if the world thinks I don't deserve, or I'm not worthy, or if the world doesn't expect much from me, then what's the point of me trying? I might as well stay in my lane, or let me not bother, go to university, get that law degree, or become a doctor, because even if I qualify, I'm not going to get a job anyway because of these obstacles. This is why, as parents, we shouldn't discourage our children to go after their dreams. The fact that we face obstacles in our own lives as African immigrants, as parents, doesn't mean we should be telling our kids that they should expect those obstacles, or that they shouldn't aspire to become more, that they shouldn't try. We shouldn't do that. What we are doing is we are cultivating this culture of low expectations. And that will just carry on from generation to generation. And is that what we want? So yeah, to conclude this video, let us develop a culture of ambition. Let us encourage someone, or our children, or anyone who comes to us with a dream, with their hopes, instead of dashing those dreams, saying, you are an immigrant, you can't possibly achieve this. Let us not do that, because then what we're doing is we are compounding those obstacles, because already we have challenges. So why are we piling on top of those challenges? So let's have a positive outlook on life, a future outlook. Yes, things might be hard today, but it doesn't mean that things can't change. Things change. If we look to history, history has got a lot to teach us. If we look to history, 100 years ago, things were so different. It was a different world, but the world has come far. We have come far as a people. So let us not forget that. So let's look forward to a brighter future. Let's be positive about our situation, about ourselves, about our goals, our dreams, the things we want to do. Let us approach them with a positive mindset. Yes, I'm not saying that let us ignore the obstacles. The obstacles are there, but that's not to say that we can't overcome those obstacles. We can. That's why I mentioned history. Our forefathers, the people who came before us, faced challenge after challenge. But guess what? They managed to overcome. We have trailblazers. That's why we talk about trailblazers. Trailblazers are people who have led the way, who have paved the way for us, who have made us realize that, this is possible. This is achievable. They have laid that foundation for us. So let us empower one another. Let us empower ourselves by developing that positive mindset, by having hope and courage, resilience, all the wonderful words. So yeah, this is what I wanted to say in this video. I don't know what to make of it. If you've got something to say, you know what to do. I'll see you next time. Take care.